peace and love. So I just wanted to tell you guys a story about when I was in New York City having a medium workshop with Paul Siegel, and it was about 100 of us in the workshop, the exercise actually, and there were a lot of star seeds there, and there were healers, there were indigos, I mean, light workers, psychics, I mean, there was tarot readers, I mean, there were a lot of people there. So I remember Paul saying that we were going to do an exercise where we'd have to pair up and we would have to read each other and how we were to do it. So I came with no one, I was alone. But we all, we're all one, so it didn't matter. But this woman, I noticed she was with a group of people, and they were pretty tall. They were tall, and that's what stood out to me, that they were tall. And she approached me because the people that she was with, they paired up with each other. So I recall her, introducing herself and vice versa. So she said, like, if I mind. I said, no, I don't mind, fine. So we were to look at each other and read each other and tell of the person what the purpose the person is, like their purpose or whatever, or just read the person and tell what you see in that person. So she stared at me and I did at her, but within a while I noticed, like within minutes, not even minutes, seconds, I remember her getting very uncomfortable, and she was doing all of this, and she was like doing this with her head and just like that, and she's looking at me, and next thing you know, she's going like this, and she's doing like this, and mind you, I'm looking up at her because she's like 6'1", 6'2". She's pretty tall, and I'm like 5'8" and a half, like 5'8" and 3/4. So I'm not short either, but she's definitely taller than me, where I had to look up at her. And she just started doing all these like morphings and stuff like that, doing like this with her body. And it went on for this was about 5 minutes, And so I recall looking at her, staring at her, and she no longer was there. I'm looking at someone else. This is another person that I'm looking at. And so as I'm looking at her, and she's getting very uncomfortable, like to the point where the body is doing all this, like, you would think like she had a neurological disorder. So I saw like a dark, very, very dark, tall, lanky, dark eyes, like it was sunken in, and you can see like little beady eyes, but it was sunken in, you know what I mean? Like an eyebrow, like, but it was like coming out like that, and it sunk in. It was round, and the mouth area, I don't even recall seeing a nose, but it was like that. And like I said, she's tall, so she's doing all these movements. So I'm looking at this thing, this entity, because now I see it's a spirit, and I no longer see the female, the white, because she's Caucasian, she's white, and I no longer see her. So this one, like I said, went on for 5 minutes, and then I heard the bell ring, and then I came out of I guess I was in a trance looking at her, and because I didn't blink, I don't recall moving. I was just stiff staring at her because she was doing all the movements. And Paul, the instructor, rung the bell for us to stop, and then we would have a discussion of what we read on the person, each other. So I recall her just moving very stealth-like to me, and she said, "You're a healer." And she did like that, and she turned away, and she said something to her friends, and I'm looking like, oh, okay, and I'm like, oh well, I recall, and I'm saying it to her, I'm like, I recall my mother telling me this when I was a little girl, like about maybe 6 years old, saying that I was a healer and that I could heal, like that. And she just looked at me, and the lady that she was with, because mind you, there was like 4 of them, but she made the 5th one. And they looked at me, and then she turned away, and they went off into the crowd. And I never got to tell her what I saw in her. You know what I mean? Like who she really was. But at the time, I didn't have a name because I had never seen anything like this. Now, you have to be careful with people around you, because people will steal your energy. These are like energy vampires, if you want to call them that, or like shadow beings, walk-ins. And when I say walk-ins, I mean these are spirits that will walk in your body and they'll take over. They'll take over your body because a lot of people do not have souls. So what happened is, I don't even think the person is aware of it, because a lot of times people are not even aware that they have no control over their body. Some people may have some sensitivity to it, but don't have an idea like what's really taking place. So what they do, they go from body to body. You see what I'm saying? So when she came to me, she realized in that moment that I was seeing through the vessel, and I was looking directly at her, like the core of this person. And I could see that this person was no longer this human. It was an entity that took over this person's body. And definitely, some people call them like skinwalkers, but there's like two forms of skinwalkers that I'm aware of. And this one, sometimes they can be very, very dangerous, you know. They can literally kill you, you know. They take over your body and they start morphing and they doing all these things, you know, like literally. So, but this one, she walked away, and like I told you, there's 5 of them, and they were in a group, and they just blended off into the crowd. And I was like, and I know Paul seen them, because see, what happened is these people, they want a body. Usually they don't care what body they take over, but they definitely, why were they there? You know, like, why were they there? Like, because they know who we are. They can sense, you know, but you know, it's a workshop. So people are not, some people are just at the beginning stage. And so people, a lot of them don't really know. They're coming for answers, you know? So this is their way of coming in and taking over that body, that person's entity. These are like vampires, soul vampires, you know what I mean? Or body vampires that take over, or energy vampires. They suck your energy. But yeah, so you definitely have to be careful when people come amongst you, because a lot of times people are not who they say they are or who they seem to be, because a lot of times they are taken over. And like I said, they'll jump from one body to the next. And I've literally seen that where it happens. Even at works, these a lot of people have attachments to them. These entities are attached to them, and people act out in a certain way, and this is not who they normally are. Or, you know what I mean? And you can say, well, I can see, because I can read people, and so I can see them for who they are. And a lot of times, when they come among somebody who knows them and sees them, they do not want to be in the vicinity of that person. You know what I mean? But anyway, just be careful of who is amongst you, and protect yourself, protect your spirit, protect your soul, protect your body, your aura, protect it. You have to protect yourself, because if you do not, you will be invaded. But in any way, peace and love, family. Just wanted to share that with you, and have a great, blessed day. Okay? Bye.